I'll give you $1 million if you translate this. The billionaire's laughter rang through the grand marble hall like a gavel striking judgment. Crystal chandeliers shimmered above rows of silk gowns and tailored suits, and cameras flashed as if they were witnessing a coronation. At the center of it all stood a thin boy in worn sneakers, his jacket sleeves too short for his wrists, his fingers curled tightly around the straps of a faded backpack. He looked impossibly small against the polished floors and towering columns, yet there was something unshakable in his eyes. Before we continue, if you believe in kindness, in second chances, and in the hidden brilliance of those the world overlooks, take a moment to like this video, share it with someone who needs hope, comment your thoughts, and subscribe to the channel. Stories like this deserve to be heard. The boy's name was Mateo Alvarez. He was 12 years old, the son of immigrants who cleaned office buildings long after the executives had gone home. His mother worked double shifts at a laundry service, her hands permanently cracked from detergent. His father had once been a literature teacher in their home country, but in this city he pushed carts of supplies through fluorescent hallways where no one asked about the poems he used to recite. Mateo had grown up in the quiet corners of other people's lives. He did homework under folding tables while his mother sorted linens. He waited in empty boardrooms while his father mopped floors. And in those waiting hours, he listened. He listened to snippets of conversation in English, French, Mandarin, Arabic. He listened to podcasts left playing in conference rooms. He listened to the hum of languages like music drifting through walls. What began as curiosity became hunger. Mateo borrowed discarded books from the recycling bins. He watched free language tutorials on a cracked phone with unreliable Wi-Fi. He repeated phrases under his breath as he walked home through streets where sirens sang louder than lullabies. Spanish was the language of his heart. English became the language of survival. Then came French, learned from a cookbook someone threw away. Mandarin from subtitles on an old DVD, Arabic from a coworker who let him copy notes from a grammar workbook. Portuguese, Russian, German, and Japanese followed like doors he refused to leave unopened. But talent does not shield you from humiliation. At school, Mateo was the quiet kid with second-hand clothes and a lunch that sometimes consisted of only bread. When he raised his hand to answer questions, classmates rolled their eyes. When he mispronounced a word in English during his early years, they laughed. He learned to swallow his brilliance the way he swallowed hunger, silently. The night everything changed was supposed to be just another cleaning shift. Mateo had begged to come along because he had a project due and the apartment's electricity had been cut off again. The building they were assigned to was hosting a charity gala thrown by billionaire tech magnate Victor Langston, a man famous for his sharp mind and sharper tongue. Mateo knew his name from business magazines left in waiting rooms. Langston was the kind of man who spoke about opportunity as if it were something you could simply reach out and grab. As Mateo sat in a corner of the grand hall, finishing his homework under the glow of chandeliers, he noticed a small crowd forming near the stage. Victor Langston had just completed a speech about innovation and global expansion. In his hand, he held an old parchment encased in glass, recently acquired at an auction. Langston declared that the document was rumored to contain a coded message written in multiple ancient and modern languages. He boasted that even his team of experts had struggled to interpret its full meaning. Then, with a smirk that suggested he enjoyed turning life into spectacle, he announced he would give $1 million to anyone in the room who could accurately translate it on the spot. Laughter rippled through the guests. It was the kind of challenge meant to entertain, not to be met. Mateo didn't plan to move. His heart hammered against his ribs, warning him of ridicule. But the parchment caught his eye. Even from a distance, he recognized fragments, Latin roots intertwined with French syntax, a line of Mandarin characters, Arabic script flowing like a river across the bottom edge. It was chaotic, yes, but not impossible. Before fear could anchor his feet, he was walking forward. The room quieted as people turned to stare at the boy in scuffed shoes approaching the stage. Security hesitated, unsure whether to intervene, but Langston raised a hand, amused. The parchment was placed before Mateo. He could feel hundreds of eyes measuring his worth by his clothes, his age, his trembling hands. For a split second, doubt clouded his vision. He thought of every laugh in a classroom, every time someone assumed he